So you may be thinking, what is the progression of our mathematical learning from kindergarten through high school? Today, I would like to share the progression of the mathematical standards using a coherence map. This is an example of the coherence map for the Mississippi College and Career Readiness Standards for Mathematics. To highlight just a few is the domain counting and cardinality, the domain numbers and operations in base 10, the domain algebra, and statistics and probability. We're going to go through each one of these domains showing the progression of learning from kindergarten through high school. Let's begin with counting and cardinality, a domain that begins and ends in kindergarten. Counting and cardinality is a critical domain for helping our beginning kindergarten learners to understand the difference between counting digits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and understanding that there are 5 items in a group. Numbers and operations in base 10, also referred to as NBT, starts in kindergarten and ends in 5th grade. We have another numbers and operations domain, NF, numbers and operations fractions, that begins in 3rd grade and ends in 5th grade. So where do these domains go for high school? Numbers and operations in base 10 becomes ratios and proportional reasoning in middle school. Numbers and operations fractions becomes the number system domain in middle school. Both domains, ratios and proportional relationships, and the number system becomes the domain number and quantity in high school. Operations and algebraic thinking, also referred to as OA, splits into 2 domains in the middle school: expressions and equations, and functions. Expressions and equations becomes the domain algebra in high school, and functions in middle school becomes the domain functions in high school. Geometry is a domain that continues and progresses from kindergarten through high school. Measurement and data, MD, is a domain that begins in kindergarten and ends in 5th grade, with the continuation of learning in the middle school as statistics and probability, which is a domain that carries into high school as well. Now, I want to highlight a specific progression of learning. So you may be thinking, why do we teach 2-step word problems in 3rd grade? What does that do to help begin the progression of learning through high school? Operations and algebraic thinking 3OA8 is a standard that says solve 2-step word problems using the 4 operations. Well, where does that go? In 5th grade, students will take that learning into the 5OA1 standard, which says use parentheses, brackets, or braces in numerical expressions and evaluate with these symbols. From there, the learning will progress into middle school or 7th grade with the standard 7EE1. Apply properties of operations as strategies to add, subtract, factor, and expand linear expressions with rational coefficients. Finally, in high school or an algebra course, students will learn the standard ACED1, create equations and inequalities in one variable and use them to solve problems. So what does this mean? In 3rd grade, when our students are learning to solve 2-step word problems using the 4 operations, they are actually beginning the foundation for order of operation that they will use throughout the rest of their high school mathematics learning to be able to solve equations.